Thank you, Peter. Now that looked truly amazing. You're going to have to let me try that out someday. I just want to encourage everyone to ask your questions in the chat. But first up, what has been the biggest challenge for you this year? So because it involves a lot of physical aspects to the VR, how have you overcome those challenges now in 2020?
Yeah. Last year, biggest challenge has been that we were able to show people the disruptive idea we had. So once I started to tell people, they have seen, for instance, Ready Player One, like, hey, we're already developing something such like this, and we're also making it in a way that it's interesting. So the challenge we overcome is that we also found the right partners. For instance, international soccer teams. The one we teamed up with is PSV, but we're talking to a lot of other sport companies or sport clubs. And those federations are interested because they change something in how we experience gaming. So instead of using your wrist and using your keyboard, it's now using your full body as a controller. So there is a big change. And now with the center and all the centers which are coming in 2021, we expect for the future to set up competitions between those clubs, but also to find our connection towards esports organizations for use massive events, because you can play it with a setup time of 1 hour more or less.
So you're kind of building bridges between both real sports and esports, but then also across countries where you can kind of compete at the same time in a physical manner.
Yes, and in such a way we are able to connect those and create a total new genre within the industry.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. Now we've got a bit more technical question now from the audience. So how many sensors are needed in addition to the HMD to make this kind of work? Because you said the whole experience is on the body of the player rather than an external.
Yeah, we use, for such matter, a proven technology, which is based on Xsense. Xsense is known for the motion capture tech. And we use more or less 12 of those sensors in our own developed harness. Because of throughput time, you are not able to wear a Lycra, for instance. We've created something which is very easy to turn on and to mount on, to gear off. So you have a short amount of time for preparations. And because it's based on that tech, we are aware that we always have the best there is. Though it's also hardware agnostic, so not only for the motion capture technology, but also for the standalone HMDs, we're able to use multiple brands within the same match if needed.
All right, well, this is super exciting and I would love to try it out someday. Thank you, Peter. And now we move on to Thijs de Vries. He's the CEO and co-founder of Warp VR. Thijs, the floor is yours. All right, so do we have Thijs ready for us? It seems like we're entering a bit of a tech issue that is to be expected when everything is online and we have to change the setups with short notice. I just want to remind everyone to put your questions for Thijs when he comes on in the chat, and remember to mark them with @Q&A so they get added. Otherwise, if we are having some issues in the meantime, if you do want to ask Peter a question, there is a possibility we could get him back on to answer a few. But we are trying to reach Thijs back now, so let's see where that takes us. And Thijs.
Hello. I think everything's correct right now. So great to be here. Thank you. I'm Thijs de Vries, CEO at Warp VR. And at Warp VR, what we are seeing is that the workplace is changing dramatically. We see human capital is becoming one of the biggest differentiators for businesses. But we also see that traditional approaches to learning and development are ineffective, they're expensive, and very often they're simply boring. So we are seeing maturing technologies such as virtual reality and 360 video that will dramatically change this learning and development landscape. So at Warp VR, we see it as our mission to help employees worldwide to access immersive and interactive real-life experiences to maximize their learning potential. And we do this by building a platform. So we have built a VR training platform that consists of two parts. A Warp Studio, being the first one, is our online tool enabling clients to easily create, distribute, and analyze corporate training scenarios suited for all situations. These training scenarios can then be played on our mobile apps for iOS, Android, Oculus, and Pico VR headsets. So on the right here, you can see one of those examples being a customer retail training for a big telecom client. So our approach to VR training is interactive and story-based. And these training scenarios support cognitive learning as they explain the sequence of steps in a procedure. We address behavioral learning as trainees learn how to perform a sequence. And finally, VR learning also means experiential learning. So employees are fully immersed to experience and understand a certain situation. So we've been founded about 4 years ago, and we continue to see that our approach works. So clients such as KLM, ISS, BBC, and others are paid users on our platform to create safety and security, sales, and leadership training scenarios. So let me give you 2 examples briefly. So together with a big oil and gas company, we have created a VR training to learn about safety awareness. By using time pressure, emotion, and storytelling, employees are trained more realistically. But also this example we made together with British Telecom. So by playing this interactive VR training, retail staff is actually more confident in interacting with customers. So in case you would like to save time and money and have your employees be really engaged and therefore remember what they learned, please get in touch.
Right, thank you very much for that, Thijs. That sounds really interesting. Now, I want to start off to ask you, have you done any of these trainings yourself?
Absolutely. So actually, by creating these trainings, I get to learn more and more about a variety of subjects clients are actually training their employees for. So currently, I know very well the evacuation procedure at KLM, for instance. So I'm learning day by day.
But now that you're working with a lot of different types of companies and you have to create a lot of different scenarios, what kind of expertise do you have to have in-house? Because it seems to be quite an undertaking to translate all these types of different, let's say, exercises into VR, because it almost feels like you have to be an expert in every single one.
Yeah, great question. So first of all, the creation of the VR training scenarios is always a co-creation. So it's always a combination between, the right set of people in a team. So you always need experts on a specific procedure, for instance, but you also need instructional designers. So very often, when we are working with clients, they are, of course, the expert on a certain procedure they want to have performed in VR. And we bring in kind of the VR expertise, but also learning and gamification expertise. So it's kind of a new way of thinking about training, but it's a way that can be taught. So what we're always trying to do with clients is to pass on that knowledge we have, so they are being able to create their own VR training scenarios from that point on.
All right. Unfortunately, we're kind of running out of time for this segment at the moment, but I just want to thank you, Thijs, for coming. And I'm guessing if people are interested, look up Thijs and Peter online and maybe Andy and shoot them over any questions you might have. Just want to thank you once again, Thijs, Peter, and Andy.
Thank you.
And now we'll move on to the last part of today's schedule. So let's go back to Callum in the studio.
Thank you very much for that, Ma. And I loved hearing about those 2 startups. It's amazing to see just how much incredible stuff there is in the world. Now, we're heading into the final stretch, the 100-meter sprint and the 400-meter race, as it were. I don't know why I've gone into athletics parlance, but here we are. Anyway, before we do that, I would like to give a big thanks to the sponsor of today, which is Immersion. And would like to remind you that the next event in the Rise series is coming to you hot, sharp and heavy on the 12th of January, where we'll be diving into the hugely relevant topic for today, that is digital learning. So make sure you register for this so you don't miss out any of the interesting learnings or expertise. And you can find that link hopefully right now in the chat. So go sign up and enjoy yourself. But now it is on to the networking rooms, and you have the choice of 3 fantastic sessions to choose from, which you can find in the sessions area. In room 1, we'll have Amelia Cowman, who is a futurist speaker and author, and Sean Vargo, who's a director of marketing intelligence at Avixa. They're going to be discussing XR and the future of events, and you can go join and chat with them. In room 2, you'll have the opportunity to discuss the question, what creators will do differently when there are 1,000 megabit connections everywhere on the mobile internet. And this is with Alexandra Hussenot, the CEO of Immersion. And finally, room 3, well, that is all about using VR to wow residential customers. And that is with Ed Venk of Cedia and Tony Edwards, Managing Director of Juiced Custom Sound and Vision. So there you have it, your 3 options of the exciting sessions that we've got coming up for you. A quick note, if none of those are, like really drawing your attention, there is an amazing networking feature. All you need to do there is go to the networking section, and if you click, you'll be matched with someone also interested in chat for a 5-minute one-on-one conversation. So all you've got left to do now is 3 simple things. Choose a room that you like, ask a question, and just enjoy yourself and have fun. And we'll see you over in that section in a few minutes for the final part of today's Rise Spotlight on extended reality. But it's been lovely to see all your faces. Stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see everyone again real soon on the 12th of January. Lots of love.